Have you ever caught yourself repeating that same phrase in your head? This isn't for me. I never get it right. It's not gonna work. It might seem like just a thought, but it's actually a command. An invisible code you're sending to your brain, your body, and the quantum field around you. And as long as that code stays active, you'll keep living out the same limitations. But Joe Dispenza revealed a simple trick, an 8-second code that can break that cycle and reprogram your mind to create a new reality. No long therapy, no years of study, just a conscious decision and some laser-focused mental training. Here's how it works. Every time you catch yourself thinking something limiting, you've got 8 seconds to interrupt that thought and replace it with a new pattern. The secret is in the timing. You can't let the thought grow because it turns into emotion, and repeated emotion becomes identity. That's why you have to act fast. Let's look at a real-life example. Say you're getting ready for a job interview. Out of nowhere, the automatic thought hits. I suck at interviews. I always freeze. That's your trigger point. The moment that thought pops up, your mental timer starts ticking. 8, 7, 6, you've got until 0 to jump in. So what do? You stop, take a deep breath, and say out loud, or in your mind with real conviction, this is a new version of me. I'm ready, I'm confident, I speak with clarity. That's the trick. You're swapping out the old circuit for a new one. Your brain, caught off guard, pauses its usual route. And if you keep doing this long enough, you carve out a new neural pathway. You literally change your mental blueprint. Joe Dispenza explains that the unconscious mind runs 95% of our daily thoughts. In other words, you're living on autopilot based on what got programmed years ago by your childhood, society, trauma. But the good news? The brain is plastic. It can be shaped, rewired, and this 8-second trick is the starting point. Think of your mind like a radio. If you stay on the same station, you hear the same song, the same pattern, the same story. But when you change the frequency, when you interrupt the thought, it's like turning the dial and tuning in to a different station, clearer, stronger, more aligned with the life you want to live. And no, you don't need to feel motivated for this to work. You just need to act. The brain responds to repetition, not hype. So even if you don't feel it, do it anyway. Even if it sounds fake at first, keep going. Because what you focus on grows. What you repeat becomes belief, and belief becomes reality. Another example, maybe you're always thinking, men suck, or women always let me down. Every time that thought comes up, it reinforces a program of abandonment, mistrust, loneliness. You attract people who prove that belief right, and the cycle goes on. But if you use the trick and flip it to something like, I attract people who respect me, I deserve healthy relationships, I'm ready to love with ease, then your energy shifts, your field changes, and reality responds. Joe also talks about the immediate physical impact of this process. When you change your thought, you change your emotion, and emotions trigger chemical reactions. Your body starts producing different substances, less cortisol, more serotonin. You literally start to feel better, calmer, more grounded, more alive. But here's the thing. This trick isn't a one-time fix. It's a practice, a habit. You start by identifying the recurring thoughts, the ones that play on a loop. I'm dumb. I'm behind in life. Nothing ever works out for me. Make a list, and next to each one, write the opposite version. Conscious, empowered, and every time the old thought shows up, and it will, you use the code. Interrupt, breathe, swap, repeat. 8 seconds. That's the magic window, the space between repeating the old and creating the new. At first it might feel fake, but remember, what feels natural today was once just repetition. You're flipping the script, putting the conscious mind in charge of the unconscious. That's power. You can even create a mental emergency kit. An audio with your reprogramming phrases, a sticky note on the mirror, a phone alarm with a positive affirmation. Use whatever works to remind yourself. You have the power to interrupt the pattern. And every time you do it, you get closer to your new version, the one who manifests with ease, the one who attracts effortlessly, the one who no longer lives in the past. Because it's not what you've lived that defines your reality. It's what you think about it now, and that you can change in 8 seconds. Ready to start? You might be thinking, but what if I don't catch the thought in time? The answer is simple. Practice. Awareness is like a muscle. The more you watch, the quicker you notice what you're thinking. And when you can catch the thought right as it shows up, you've already won half the battle. Joe Dispenza explains that thought creates emotion. Emotion reinforces thought, and the cycle keeps spinning. But when you break that circuit in the first few seconds, you stop it from taking root. It doesn't become a feeling. It doesn't turn into behavior. That's why it's so powerful. You disarm the process before it even begins. You don't need to fight your mind with force. Just shift your direction, interrupt the pattern, redirect your focus. That alone is already reprogramming. Say you're having a bad day, everything's going wrong, and the thought hits, this day is going to be a disaster. Stop, breathe, tell yourself, this moment doesn't define my day. I choose to create something new now. You can say it while walking, cooking, driving. What matters is that you practice. With time, it becomes automatic. You're no longer getting dragged around by your thoughts. You're behind the wheel. And here's something wild. The brain doesn't know the difference between what you imagine with intensity and what you actually live. So if you keep saying you're thriving, even if you're still in debt, your body starts responding like you're already in that new state. It produces different chemicals, fires up new connections, opens up new possibilities. You change your biochemistry, you change your field, and then the outside starts to reflect the inside. That's real manifestation. Joe Dispenza recommends anchoring this process into a routine, maybe in the morning, before bed, or every time you feel triggered. And it's key to be clear on the patterns you want to eliminate. It's not just about replacing a thought. You've got to know why that thought doesn't serve you anymore. For example, I've never been good enough. Ask yourself, who made you believe that? When did that belief take root? And most importantly, is it still true for you? Because maybe it hasn't been true for a long time, but you're still carrying it around like it is. And if it's not true anymore, then it's time to delete it, erase it, replace it, declare, today I'm different, today I choose who I am. That's the key. It's not just about repeating pretty phrases, it's about feeling like you're choosing a new program. And when you do that, your body, your mind, your energy, even your environment starts to line up. Another tip from Joe is to use visualization. Don't just interrupt the thought. See your new self living it. Feel it. Picture the details. What are you wearing? How do you walk? How do you smile? How do you talk? The more real it feels, the faster your brain buys in. And once it does, repeating it gets easier. You can do it in front of a mirror or with your eyes closed. What matters is keeping your focus for at least 2 minutes. That's enough time to activate the brain centers linked to your new identity. And from there, you go live your day in that energy. It's not effort, it's a decision. You'll start to notice life reacting differently. Things that used to knock you down won't hit as hard. Words that used to sting lose their power. People start seeing you differently. Opportunities show up where there used to be blocks. Because everything's tied to what you're vibing, and you vibe what you think, and now you're thinking on purpose. This 8-second trick is more than a technique. It's a doorway, a turning point, a break from the old you. Every time you practice it, you weaken the past and strengthen the future. And if one day you forget, that's okay. Start again, breathe, reaffirm, I am who I choose to be now. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. not about control, about awareness, and awareness is all you need to create a new reality.